Desmond Bain, I was on the side that he would fix their 3-point shooting woes, but where I disagreed with a lot of the NBA media is that he was a good defender. And he has had a problem defending for the last 2 to 3 years now. And flip flop on the Grizzlies side of things, Orlando sent the 2026 Phoenix first round pick in this deal, along with 4 other first round picks. One of those Orlando draft picks was traded up this year to get Cedric Coward. So not only did they get KCP, Cedric Coward, but they also have still the crown jewel in their back pocket. This trade looks like they lost it miserably so far.
Yeah, they traded a lot of first round picks. My overreaction to the Magic is that there's actually a graph, there's a correlation of the usage of each offensive player by quarter. In the fourth quarter, Paolo receives the most usage offensively on their team.
Here we go.
And there's a graph that shows in the first, second, third quarter, their offensive rating, it tanks when they get into the fourth quarter. It's not a coincidence that it's because Paolo dominates the ball in the fourth, and that's why their offense tanks. My overreaction is that after this season, they're going to have to pick between Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. And I hope they make the right decision. You know what I think the right decision is. I don't think they know what the right decision is. But Franz is the better offensive player. He's the better playmaker. He is the better driver of the basketball. Paolo Banchero's shot diet is still extremely inefficient, and I just don't think that he is an engine of a great offensive team. And that's why we see the Magic are a bad offensive team, because he's not an engine. He's the first overall pick, is not the reason for their elite defense every year, and is one of the biggest reasons why they have an inefficient offense, because he doesn't contribute to winning offensive basketball. He takes bad shots, and when they go in, it looks awesome. But Franz is the better offensive player, and that's why when he's on the floor and he has most of the usage, they're a better offensive team.
Oh, sure. Well, I literally, in the summer, I banged the table about Paulo Banchero being better than Franz Wagner. I'm not going to sit here and lie on camera whenever I'm texting you off camera that I had a fantasy basketball draft. And I got to the inflection point where it was my turn to pick. I can't remember what round it was. There was Paulo Banchero still sitting there, and there was Franz Wagner sitting below. And I slowly injected into my veins all of the statistical info and all the poison you had gave me to believe that Franz Wagner is a better player than Paulo Banchero. And I was thinking fantasy-wise. I'm thinking efficiency. I ended up drafting Franz Wagner over Paulo Banchero. And whenever you're telling me about that chart, it doesn't surprise me with how inefficient he is. You and I disagree about a lot, but I'm starting to come around on the Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner thing. I think we can agree on that Paulo Banchero has a higher ceiling, but if he continues to make the same mistakes over and over and over again and not improve on the things he needs to improve on, then Franz Wagner is ultimately the better choice. I'm not to the point where they need to make a pick between those two yet, but early this season, starting 1-4, I think the Desmond Bain trade they will ultimately regret. That is my overreaction to this season thus far.
They already lost a trade. That's
Okay. Okay.
I don't there doesn't need to be an over explanation about it. They lost because they gave up 4 firsts, and Cedric Coward is going to be just as valuable as a player as Desmond Bain.
Yes.
That player alone, if you told me that the Grizzlies traded Desmond Bain for a younger version of him that's a much better defender and more active and has higher potential, I would say that's a win. Plus, they get all the picks on top of that. It's clearly a win for Memphis. And I think the Magic, they went all in on a duo that doesn't fit. They don't complement each other's play style. I'm just saying, you could get a lot for Paolo Banchero.
That's true. And I also, not to mention the Cedric Coward thing, I saw a draft simulation on Twitter. The number one pick was a 2026 Phoenix first rounder that was given up by Orlando to Memphis. The second was the Orlando pick they also included in that deal. You're talking about 3 first rounders that Memphis has in their back pocket now, 2 of which could be a very, very high lottery pick. So
Yes.
you and I see eye to eye on it. And yes, I think you could get a lot for Paulo Banchero as well. So it may be time to make that move.
They just have to avoid drafting Zaire Williams, and they'll be good.
Well, they traded up, and it's crazy because they're kind of rewriting history as we speak. If I remember, they drafted Zaire at 10. They got Cedric Howard around that same range as well. So I think that is erasing their old mistakes.
That's good.